Welcome back to A Course in Miracles workbook for students. We are on lesson 27. And it says, above all else, I want to see.
Mhm.
That's funny because we were just having a conversation before. Number
Mhm.
one, today's idea expresses something stronger than mere determination. It gives vision priority among your desires. You may feel hesitant about using the idea on the grounds that you are not sure you really mean it. This does not matter. The purpose of today's exercises is to bring the time when the idea will be wholly true a little nearer.
Number two, there may be a great temptation to believe that some sort of sacrifice is being asked of you when you say you want to see above all else. If you become uneasy about the lack of reservation involved, add, vision has no cost to anyone. If fear of loss still persists, add further, it can only bless.
Mm. The idea for today needs many repetitions for a maximum benefit. It should be used at least every half hour and more if possible. You might try for every 15 or 20 minutes. It is recommended that you set a definite time interval for using the idea when you wake, or shortly afterwards, and attempt to adhere to it throughout the day. It will not be difficult to do this, even if you are engaged in conversation or otherwise occupied at the time. You can still repeat one short sentence to yourself without disturbing anything.
Or the real question is, how often will you remember? How much do you want today's idea to be true? Answer one of these questions and you have answered the other. You will probably miss several applications and perhaps quite a number. Do not be disturbed by this, but do try to keep on your schedule from then on. If only once during the day you feel that you were perfectly sincere while you were repeating today's idea, you can be sure that you have saved yourself many years of effort.
Ooh,
I
wow.
know.
Wow.
That sounds like a challenge.
Right.
That last sentence brings in the idea of jumping time, like moving ahead faster in ways
Yeah.
because concepts are being dropped out of your mind, being erased, washed out of
Mhm.
your mind. So then
Yeah.
you don't do certain lessons anymore. You get to bypass them. That's
Right.
how I see it in my head. Like, oh, thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you.
Well, and it kind of feels that way when in the healing that I've had in the last couple of years, not that there's anything wrong with me, but in the things that have changed for me in the last few years, um, I believe that's true. I
Mhm.
think when you heal certain aspects of yourself, you just launch forward in your growth. You
Yeah.
trust, you believe, you are more solid, you're more grounded. That root chakra stuff comes in. It is just so.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kelly,
Interesting. Yeah, I'm struggling with
there's
a
some,
little bit of the concept, right? But and I have to admit, I haven't been doing our lessons throughout the day. It's like I walk out of my office and I literally forget. I'm just on to the next thing. So that's
yeah.
kind of where I'm at this stage. Um, I don't disagree with anything, but I have to say I'm not called to um, remember that vision has no cost to anyone; it can only bless. So I'm thinking today will be the day that I pull that forward because, yeah, once I get started in my day, I just get started in my day, and I seem to
Yeah.
leave this time behind.
Well, and that's perfect too, because
Yeah.
that's your perfect journey.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like it's perfect. It's everything. There's no thought that actually takes you off your journey. Actually, it's all our journey, all of it.
Okay.
Even though we think we're going off, it's not really because it's a blessing, actually.
Right.
And we need those blessings.
And
Hmm.
the thoughts are
So,
just attack thoughts.
Yeah,
Right.
they're just attack thoughts, but they don't mean anything.
Because that last one, the real question is how often you'll remember. I thought, yeah, exactly. How often will I remember?
Yeah.
Well, I know for me, if they want it every like 6 2-minute practice periods, I'll forget. But if it's constant, I'll
Right.
remember.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
Yeah, and it's interesting because the mind wants to compare whatever, my mind seems to want to go, oh, so and so did this and I didn't, or it's the comparing.
It is.
yeah,
Yeah.
And you know what? It's real. That is a judgment. That is very, very harmful. It is harmful on ourselves to do that. It
Yeah.
actually is a judgment, and we don't need to do that because everybody's journey is so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we do. How can we even compare journeys?
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
yeah,
and 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 there's also another thought that, oh, I'm going to do this perfectly. Like there's this perfectionist
Mm-hmm.
attitude, and it's I want to help Holy Spirit to help me take this from me, actually. This
Mm-hmm.
feeling,
yeah,
I'm going to do it perfectly. And then if somebody else doesn't do it perfectly, oh well, I'm better than them. You
Right.
know, or vice versa. Somebody's
Mm-hmm.
doing better than me and I'm falling behind.
Mm-hmm.
All these thoughts are attack thoughts,
Right.
and we're believing them. And
Mm-hmm.
that's then we can say, above all else, I want to see that everything's equal.
Right.
The forgetting, it doesn't matter if you remember or forget, it's all equal.
Yeah.
Nothing means anything. But we don't believe that, actually. We believe it means something.
Right.
yeah.
So that's a really
And
like, oh,
maybe we don't need to do it all day long because we already know it. So
Mm-hmm.
again,
whatever happens is going to be perfect for our own journey.
Right.
yeah,
And when you do remember, you're like, oh, thank you. It's a blessing to remember again.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be punishment.
Right. In the first few lessons before the book actually arrived, I would write all the lessons down, just the top of them, like above all else I want to see.
Mhm.
And I would keep it with me. And it felt like a burden, almost a stress to try to remember to do those kinds of things. And then when the book arrived, then I stopped doing that. And that definitely feels better because I can just close the book and move on.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. And it's just remembering when you remember
Hmm.
to go, oh, I was judging
Right.
myself, or I was judging others, or I was making it seem all really important and serious.
Hmm.
Nothing is important and serious, but
Right.
we don't actually believe that. We think something is serious.
Yeah.
And that's where we just go, oh, thank you. It's like an awareness, like, oh, it's not really important, but I really don't believe that. I think it is important. And that's what causes the distress.
Hmm. Yeah,
hmm
that's true. But it wouldn't be very easy to, well, maybe it would be extremely easy, but to think of it in this headspace now, to go through life without having assigned meaning to things, right? Because to me, it would feel like then we would all start floating instead of walking, right?
Yeah. Well, so many concepts came up yesterday for me, like that I asked the Holy Spirit to please remove from my mind,
Mm,
remove from the split mind that sees duality.
mm,
And um, it was belief in concepts in sickness and poverty and lack.
mm. Right.
Thoughts, yes, those ones were really coming in strong.
Hmm.
Concepts in lack and sickness and yeah, and fear over that, fear of
Right.
sickness, fear of lack. Yeah,
Yeah.
very and I just please take this from me because I don't know what to do about it because it's
Hmm.
relentless. It's just it doesn't leave you alone. It
Right.
right. It's the
can't run
looping. It's
away
like
from
it's
it.
caught on and it just keeps looping and looping and looping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like all my life I think, God, it's just been hounding me forever, it seems like. It's like, oh my God. And when you think you've escaped it, I feel so good now. And then
Hmm.
boom, it comes back again. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
And it just
Well,
feels
that's
hopeless.
grace and then also forgiveness.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Grace, compassion, and forgiveness.
Hmm.
For heaven's sakes, the exterior world is hard. Our thoughts are hard. Those are attack thoughts. Let's be
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
gentle on ourselves. When we notice, let's now be gentle on ourselves, because everything else is we've given it meaning hard lesson.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's read number 2 again. There may be a great temptation to believe that some sort of sacrifice is being asked of you when you say you want to see above all else. Okay. What that sentence comes up for me is it sounds like there's something I don't see, right?
What am
Above
I
Mm.
missing
all
out
else
on?
I want to see. Does that mean that there's something I don't see? Like it implies something. And I think that's what it means there. There's a great temptation to believe that some sort of sacrifice is being asked of you to give up something.
Because
Yeah,
it
it
says,
does.
because it's above all else I want to
Right.
see. So
Yeah.
at the expense of something else that I have
Yep.
to give up, I get to
Yes.
see.
Yes. And it feels like a sacrifice, like I'm asked to be giving up something of value, right? If you become uneasy about the lack of reservation that involved, add vision has no cost to anyone, which means there's no one that's actually sacrificing anything. It's
Mm.
just the belief in sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
So we can ask for the Holy Spirit to take that from our mind too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That the belief I have to give up something,
Mm-hmm.
that's a belief, and it's not true either.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. The idea for today needs many repetitions for maximum benefit. Yeah, this is something you could say all day long.
Mhm.
I forget what the other one was all day long. What was it?
Yeah, I don't
I am
remember.
determined to see.
Yeah.
I think that was all
Yeah.
day.
Was that lesson 20?
21. Was it 20? Oh, I am
20. I am
determined to see
determined to
is
see.
20.
Mm-hmm.
20.
This is
At
actually
least twice an hour, yeah.
I've been through these lessons before, and this is actually one of my favorites that I've said for years now because it kind of stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Every time I have a distressful thought, that this lesson comes to my mind. It always seems to be a correction in a way. And then
Right.
Okay.
certain ones that you'll come across that kind of stick to you a little bit more than others, and they're more helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think it drills into us too when you say it more often. Like I am determined to see, I said all day long. So that's still easy to remember. Whereas the other ones that you don't say all day long because you don't need to. We don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when
But
you're
I am determined to, yeah.
yesterday I was thoughts were just coming in from the past, from my childhood.
Hmm.
And I was applying this lesson above all else I want to see, like certain interactions between my dad and my sisters, and different things were coming, and I was saying this. I just want to see what does that mean? What did that mean?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it in the way in
In the true
correctly,
perspective. Mm-hmm.
instead of judgment, because I was
Yeah.
judging my sister for the way she was treating my dad. But then I realized, holy cow, like it was actually helping me
Mm.
with my lesson yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So this can be applied through all of time too,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go
in your
back.
day to day, but past things that didn't make any sense to you.
Right.
Yeah. Above all else, I want to see.
If fear of loss still persists, add further, it can only bless. Yeah. Belief in loss, the fear of loss.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're going to believe that you're something's going to go away, and you're going to feel loss. But that loss is actually a blessing, but you don't know it. Because we're so attached to this world and we believe that it's making us happy
Or not.
or not. But we're constantly looking for it if we don't feel happiness. If we're
Yeah.
in if we're upset, what do we do? Like what's our first thing that we do? We kind of want to go towards something
Yeah.
to relieve that upset.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I'm better at this, but I usually just sit down and go, okay, what's going on here? I like what you say, the Holy Spirit, take this away from me, but it's not, but I still want to know why. So I think not that I need to know why, but above all else, I want to see, what is this teaching me? What is this
Well,
teaching me?
I want peace and peace, inner peace. I want happiness.
Yeah.
That's what we want. We want peace. We want everything to just not be worried anymore, not be in doubt anymore, not have to strive for something anymore. Like it's burdensome.
Yeah.
And we, when we ask for help, we're actually turning away from the world for an answer.
But if we
We're,
came from spirit,
yes, we ask
we
spirit to help.
we we came here for these experiences and
Yes.
for things to have meaning.
Yeah.
So it feels
Mm-hmm.
like if we're trying to let all those things go, that we're just kind of forcing ourselves to go back into spirit.
There's no force.
Yeah, because it's
I
not
don't
like
know.
I can hear what you're saying that we're trying to get rid of,
Right, the experience that we came here for.
but we're not here to get rid of the experience. We're here to get rid of the beliefs that
Mm,
causes us distress. Like
right.
it because it's not our natural state. Our true nature is peace and happiness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we just believe we have to get it in the world sometimes,
Right.
that something's going to bring it to us.
Mm-hmm.
And we're distracted by the things out here so that then we forget.
Mm,
As soon as we're distracted by who we really are, away from who we really are, the beliefs come up, the doubts come up, the fears come up, whatever the term is.
mm-hmm.
And it's just, we're, we're here to remember who we are
Right.
and to experience those things and find our way back to our source
Mm-hmm.
on earth here
And
until we're ready to lose the bodysuit.
Right.
but that isn't really in time either. Like it's not like in the movie, in the journey, the pilgrim's progress. It looks like he's moving away, like in space, like distance wise, he's moving away. But it's not really like that in the mind.
Yeah.
It's not really
Well, I
moving
thought that
anywhere.
first day was the longest day in history. I thought, my God, is he not tired or hungry yet? Because a lot happened in that first hour of the movie. And that was my first thought. My egoic body type
Right.
thoughts were,
Mm-hmm.
aren't you hungry? You climbed, you've pulled out of, you've been plucked out of a swamp. You've had, these dragon type things attack you. You've been completely beat up by somebody, even in your suit of armor and stuff. It's like, what the heck? Didn't you need time to
Because
recover
we
from that?
believe in time, and that's the
Yeah.
fault. That's another fault, another belief that we're under a spell that we're it's taking a long time.
Yeah.
But actually, if you go within the mind and you go above all else, I want to see what is going on. It actually can be just a what do they call it? A flicker in time. Like it's just a
Blip.
it's a blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't
Yeah.
take any time at all. But because we believe in time, we have to we experience it, and that's not good or bad, right or wrong or nothing. It's just it's just not true.
Hmm. And just notice it.
Yeah, just noticing. Yeah, noticing is everything. Like it's
Yeah.
we don't have to really we can't really do anything else. Yeah.
So fun.
And at the bottom of number 4, the real question is, How often will you remember? How much do you want today's idea to be true?
Mm-hmm.
Because if this statement is true, then there's nothing else that we have that there needs to be seen, because nothing else is real. So if we think we're giving up something, we're believing in an untrue thought.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it's not the eye's vision, it's the knowing. It's not
Oh yeah,
seeing the literal,
it's not
it's
through the
the,
eyes. No.
the knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my mind, it's like above all else, I want to see single vision. I want single vision
Mm-hmm.
instead of double vision,
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
right? Single vision is real and double vision is unreal. You can't have both.
Right.
Yeah.
You just want to see the truth of whatever you're looking at.
Yeah, and the truth is that it's singular.
Mm.
It's not an opposite. It's not
Mm-hmm.
a this or that. It's not a good or a bad or right or wrong. It's just not real.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, well, vision has no cost to anyone because nothing means anything. Like we go back to lesson one
Right.
or whatever lesson that is.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing I see means anything.
Right.
There, therefore, there is no cost to vision.
Mm-hmm.
And if we believe there is, well, it can only bless.
Yeah. It can only bless, right? Above all else, I want to see. Vision has no cost to anyone. Of course not. It can only bless.
It's
Above all else,
singularity.
I want to see.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nina.
Yeah, because double vision actually brings everything that we do not want.
Mm-hmm.
War, right? It's like all these concepts of war
Mm-hmm.
and peace, right? We think we have to have one over the other. It's but it's just it's a belief in division. It's a belief in separation
Right.
Yes.
where
Yeah.
everything is actually singular. There is no harm being done or loss being had, or there's no, all these concepts aren't real,
Mm-hmm.
but we believe they're real, and then we need to fight with them and get rid of them and do all this work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's
Analyze
like,
them, feel them.
why we're wasting so much energy on something that isn't even real.
And
Right.
that's a hard, that's the hard reminder. Well, I mean, I'm making something out of that, but that's
But
the hard reminder is that none of this is really happening. Tell that to anyone out there on the street, right?
Right.
Mhm,
With the chaos out there, none of this is real.
Mm-hmm.
This is
mhm.
just to bring attention to what you're focusing on, which is not yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We
And
just
I
need
think,
to, yeah, the blocks are the concepts.
yeah,
They're blocking our vision because
right.
they're it's like it's pulling us back into that world of duality,
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
and it makes
Yeah.
us afraid. Oh, you have to do this. You have to do this, like, or you should do this, or
Right.
this is good for you. You got to do this. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a pulling, and it's based on fear, and it's based on something that isn't real, because
Mm-hmm.
only only vision is real and it's singular. There's
Yeah.
nothing to be afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
nothing to get. There's nothing to give. There's nothing. It's just the only true giving is vision.
Yeah. And
And
everyone's
only,
journey is perfect, regardless of what country you live in and what you're going through. Everyone's journey is perfect and
oh,
required.
no. Oh.
So
And the
funny,
belief in
right?
poverty, like that has been such a burden in my mind.
Yeah.
It's a burden because as soon as somebody needs, maybe they need money,
Mm-hmm.
I literally feel this responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Like I gotta save them.
Right.
And it's burdensome, and so above all else, I want to see that everybody is perfect and whole and abundant, and these suits and these stories aren't real.
Exactly. See, I
Like
see
we
that
fall into
differently.
this.
Someone needs something. I remember that I have everything. And I go, here,
Mm.
here,
Yeah.
you have this.
But can we help them see that what they're believing, like, well, we don't have to change anybody's beliefs. We just have to
Mhm.
remind ourselves that we're believing in what they're believing. And so
Right.
we're both in like in bond, enslaved by this belief in
Yeah.
poverty.
But I think I have a slightly different vision. I
Oh,
believe there's all the abundance.
yes,
So, I have it. I have proof that I can help people. I'm not going to help and save people, but you need something? Yes, I can help you. And if that shows you the love that you're missing, that helps your journey towards this. Above all
yes,
else, I want to see.
yes.
Because we all
I
have a
just don't want
path
to
to
be a
get here.
distraction. Like I don't want to be a distraction for somebody in somebody else's journey. I
Maybe
don't
we
want
need
to
to be.
reinforce, I don't want to reinforce beliefs in poverty for other people by believing that they're poor,
Right.
because then I'm joining in that false belief with them, and we're like we're both in bondage. If I believe that so and so is poor, like that's the belief. That's there's just I'm releasing that out of the mind. There's no more. It's done. I don't
Yeah,
have to
it's
feel
not even that we
sorry.
believe of ourselves, but we have beliefs about others and we put
Yeah,
those
yeah,
beliefs upon them.
yes. But they're false witnesses coming to us and saying, "I'm poor."
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, but who's actually poor?
Hmm.
It's a thought in my mind, and I
Yeah.
don't see
Okay.
it. I don't
And they
see.
don't exist. It's just a test of what I'm going to do with see, I get that.
It's above all else I want to see, and then we get to see.
Hmm.
That's how we
Yeah.
see things, because we're joining in the singular vision instead of the double vision.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The double vision is hell. It really is. Like just you think you're separate from poverty, but no, no, no. Just because you have money, no. The concept is still in the mind.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's yeah. And then I ask for forgiveness, like please forgive me for all the judgments I've had on people. Like it's
Mm.
Hmm.
just I forgive myself because I couldn't see. And when you can't see, you judge.
Right.
Yeah. Where did your other thing go, Kelly?
I have no idea what happened. All of a sudden, everything just like cut right out. And I'm like, okay, I just had an update to my computer before I got on.
Mm.
Um, but I don't know. Anyway, so I just logged back in.
And then there was two
I
Kellys,
know.
and then one just dropped off. See, to me, those are all signs that things are not what they seem.
Glitching out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Above all else, I want to see. So we
Yeah.
get proof of things that don't exist.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes, we do. And at first it feels upsetting because we do believe in them. But then we get to see that they're not real, and that
Yeah.
brings relief to the body in a way. Like it physically a relief
Hmm.
happens.
Hmm.
That's truth.
It's so mind-bendingly simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't
Painfully.
know how to make it simple. It's just it has to stay mind-bendingly,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. We have to make it yeah. I
Hurt,
apparently have to make it mean something and make
hurt,
it more
hurts so good.
challenging and and make it hard. But it's not hard.
Hmm.
It's really quite simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if seeing truly, there is nothing to do. Like there's just it's already peace. Even in all
Which
of the
is what you do all
dualities.
day long already, is nothing.
But it seems to be a lot of doing, like the body's moving around and doing stuff, but I don't really feel like it's doing anything. It's just moving around.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
what's that mean? What does that mean? Yeah. We make everything important. Like, oh, I'm really doing something real and important. It's
Yeah.
I need to be productive.
special. Oh yeah. Oh, the concept of productivity.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've got
Yep.
good examples because I have a bookkeeping business. And what I've learned in the last few years is that the creativity, and people have said, well, make bookkeeping creative. It doesn't work for me that way. I need to have a creative outlet as well. So that's why I create
Mm-hmm.
my posters
Mm.
and my daily
Apart from,
affirmations.
yeah.
So yeah, I love creating. I love creating and
Mm-hmm.
bookkeep. Yeah, I've decided
Mm-hmm.
that bookkeeping can't be creative, although I still do creative bookkeeping.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I used to do that bookkeeping too, but then of course, I was a mother of young kids, so that was my creative outlet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, let's end the recording here.